Today I effed up taking my kids to see Inside/Out right after getting separated from our marriage. This happened last Thursday on the first week I had my kids after getting forcefully separated from my wife. In the span of 2 weeks, I slept in hotels, friends' campers, signed a new lease on life in a house, purchased a bunch of divorced guy furniture from Craigslist, went to court to stand trial and negotiate a settlement, barely interacted with the outside world and never really contemplated the entire sudden fiasco entirely. I was just trying to create a new home the state would deem worthy of my seeing my kids. Last Sunday 2/28 was the first time I got to see them for a week at the new house since the breakup. It was rough, brutal, and confusing for everybody involved for the first few days, but we found a rhythm by Wednesday. That day, I received an email from a local venue about restarting showing movies in their outdoor seating area during the day since the weather had improved considerably. Just enter your name and then those attending with you and win a chance for 6 tickets and a table to watch the movie in mid-afternoon. Being the new single dad, I wanted everything and signed up and we won. Not knowing that everyone who signed up actually won because they needed to generate business since no one had been to the venue since fall. The contest was a ploy that worked wonderfully to draw folks out. SP Euler for plot of Inside Out. I'd never heard of Inside Out before because we normally don't attend movies, but watch some Netflix. We show up right as the movie is beginning. Order a pizza and wait and watch. Nothing fancy. Then I realize it's a movie about emotions that occur after a huge tumultuous breakup in a girl's life when she moves from the Midwest to California. Long story short, they comb through the child's entire psyche, reaching all the way back to her childhood, core memories with her parents, joy, sadness, anger, etc. Tears are streaming down my face as the buzzer lets me know the pizza is ready. I walk over, grab it and head back. We are silently munching through our pizza when the forgotten memory rocket ride scene takes place. In it, the emotion, joy, and Bing Bong, the childhood imaginary elephant friend of the protagonist, are trying to escape a pit of forgotten memories. They are riding an imaginary wagon that is powered by rocket rainbows fueled by singing. With both of them, it's too heavy to make it up a cliff and out to save the main character. Bing Bong decides at the last minute to eject himself from the wagon to make it lighter and sacrifice himself so his friend, the main girl, can find happiness again. I couldn't hold back any longer and straight up wailed and cried so loud other socially distanced tables were looking over and holding their kids close to them. I tried to stop, but 15 years of marriage, 2 kids, soccer games, schools, vacations, deaths in the families, secret handshakes, whispers, brownies, Sunday drives, and beach trips overwhelmed me and everything flooded out at once. It was terribly embarrassing for me and my kids. I couldn't hide it or stop it no matter how hard I tried. Just then the wind picked up and blew the pizza box, plates, napkins, water bottles and coloring books off the table and strewn them across the venue in broad daylight. The movie is blaring. I'm bawling, my children are confused and crying, and everyone is frantically trying to help me pick up my life. Luckily, my son, in the middle of the entire fiasco, walks over to a nearby table, stoops down and picks one of our pieces of pizzas off the pavement and removes some trash from it before taking a bite, then turns around looking at me and yells, "Dad, pick me up one of those waters off the ground, will you?" It was the comic relief every table needed and everyone broke into laughter. We slumped over to our table and finished the movie holding each other and rocking back and forth. We had not addressed the situation fully at that point, but the ride home was insightful and we talked a great deal. I still have a lot of work to do in relationship repair, but we are headed in the right direction. TLDR, recently separated, brought kids to see Inside Out, broke down in front of everyone processing the recent events of my life. Undefined. I can assure you this is real and it happened. I'm real and nothing is fabricated. Yes, I contributed to the breakup, but that's not what this is about. I made sure to rent a house in the same town near their school in order to maintain presence in their lives and minimize the turbulence. I cooked all our favorite meals the first week to make it seem like it was the same and slept on the floor with them the entire week since I took the week off from work. It's just a post about crying uncontrollably in public unexpectedly. That's it. Just like my life blowing up before my eyes. I never expected this to either. I am grateful for all of you reaching out, even those banging me for posting and asking for sympathy points. I know I can do this because so many of you said it could work and that you also did. Suffered far worse, are deep in it right now, and shared incredible stories about making connections with your parents because of it. I am grateful. Really, today is my actual birthday in real life and I've been sitting here reading posts and dying all over again. I'm lonely, but not alone. Thank you all. I will pay all of your gratitude forward. I am truly sorry for misspelling Inside Out in the title. I fixed it here, but everything seems hyper-vigilant right now. I think that's a great choice in movies for this time in their lives though. I think it does a great job addressing negative feelings and how to work those things productively. I watched it with my daughter while my divorce process was starting and it hit really hard too. That movie hits hard no matter where you are in life if you're an adult. Kids seem to grasp some of it, but it hits different for adults. Speep hit me so hard. I guess Shrooms was a smart choice before watching it, but it ended up being the right choice for my psyche. Holy peep, dude. To me, this sounds less like a peep up and more like you possibly shattered a massive wall with your children. Being able to share your thoughts and feelings with them like you did during the car ride home will make the family healing process through all of this a lot more smooth. And chances are you're going to come out with the best relationship with your kids that you could ever hope for. Indeed, maybe in public wasn't optimal, but seeing your father/parent being emotionally available is important to the kids. Probably seeing their dad cry reminded them that it was okay to be sad. And it is. And that vulnerability, like you said, shattered a massive wall. Coincidentally, also the main message of the movie. Came here to say the top part of these comments, and you guys executed beautifully. Bravo. The movie makers would be incredibly moved, I think. This sounds like working as intended. To the max. Maybe not where intended, but. Haha, being that Pixar has a tendency to do this to people, then they should only release their movies in therapist offices. The people who need these moments most tend to be the ones not yet ready to admit to themselves that therapy could help. The walls we put up around ourselves are as effective at keeping us from seeing ourselves as they are at keep others from seeing us as well. Oh God. Hey look. I'm 12 years post-divorce. Our kids are now 17 and 20. They're doing great. It's okay to let them know you're sad and confused. It's okay for them to see you working hard to create a new stability. I'll even go so far as to say that it's okay for them to see that you and your ex are having a hard time getting along and are having hard feelings toward each other. There are just 2 rules to follow. 1. You both must always let your children know you love them and love spending time with them, no matter what. 2. You must never badmouth your ex before your kids. It's okay to say, Mom and I have a lot of hurt feelings now or whatever. It's okay to be factual. But don't badmouth their mom. And then rule 3 is don't force them to confront your dating life yet. Whole other conversation and this is too fresh for you now. But keep that at arm's length for a while. TL, Doctor. Do your best to model healthy grief and constructive rebuilding while shielding your kids from spite. 2. Especially, my parents got divorced when I was 5. I'm 42 now and my dad would actually praise my mother for raising me the way she did. That's so sweet. I'm so sorry. It's a heavy movie for sure. My wife balls at Bing Bong every time. My wife balls at Bing Bong every time. A sentence that demands context in order to not sound completely ridiculous. I mean, it's really sad to be called Bing Bong when your name is Brittany, so I get it. I love this reference. I almost didn't get it. Help. Sounds like the time I made the mistake of watching Coco right after my grandfather died. I was just going to warn up that Coco is another Pixar movie that will absolutely break you. So don't jump in unless you are prepared for some serious weepy catharsis. Doesn't even matter how recently your loved one died. If you've ever lost someone, Coco will make your grief fresh and earth-shattering again. I didn't realize what Coco was about, and went to a showing of it at my kids' school. Earlier that day I had gotten the news that my condition had not gotten better, and that I was getting a referral to the organ transplant clinic. I was not in a great headspace, and just thinking about the worst outcomes all day. I was so emotional the entire time, and trying not to let anyone else see. That was not a great night. Are you okay now? Mostly. Ended up not getting the transplant yet. They said I may end up needing one on 6 to 10 years, but right now my stuff is managed through meds and diet. So all good. One of the great things about the film Inside Out is it contextualizes emotions for children and opens up a way for parents and kids to discuss feelings in a way that is less clinical. Remember how Riley went through, and the emotion character did. Or what characters are talking loudest in your head right now? It sounds like you and your family are going through a very emotional time, and I hope it works out well for everyone. In the meantime, you now have a useful tool for opening up a dialogue with your children, not only about their feelings but your own. Yeah, I read somewhere that children's therapists would actually screen the movie/clips of it for their patients because it made it easy for kids to understand it and explain their emotions. My sister is a psychologist and uses this movie sometimes. It happens to be one of my favorite movies too. They have a short on Disney Plus where Riley brings her first date home, which is hilarious. You get to see more of the parents' emotions and they are perfectly done. Hey, look, a new core memory. Joy grabs the ball. It's dad bawling over a movie in public. That's so funny. I unexpectedly and loudly sobbed in the theater watching this movie. My kids were like, "Ong mom, what's wrong?" I've seen it countless times and still cry. I'm sorry that it hit you so hard all at once, but it sounds like you are doing a great job for your kids. Same with any dog movie. The last time my wife and I watched Marley and Me, I knew the part I would break down at. It was close. I held it in. Then she asks, "You crying?" "Nope." She mocks me each time. Then I did that shaking inhale. Ha! I looked over at her to scold her, and she's been silently crying the whole time. Oh, I let her have it. Lol. That annoys me so much. I remember my bio dad bullying my bio mom for crying during movies, throwing up on airplanes, etc., and it was so normal to me that I would even join in. I feel so guilty now, thinking back on it. To make someone feel embarrassed for being a human being is so cruel. True, but to be fair, him and his GF sound like they have a joking relationship considering they were both crying, haha. If it makes you feel any better, I had that reaction in a totally stable time of my life. Pixar will get you if they are given the opportunity. Coco is worse. The beginning of Up. I just said the same thing, less than 5 minutes into the movie and without dialogue, and I'm uncontrollably sobbing. At the time I saw Up, I like to watch a lot of sad art films. That night my girlfriend was like, "I kinda just want to watch something happy, let's watch this cartoon." I said okay. After that silent prologue, I was like, "Megan, you're sick." Mate, emotions shouldn't be embarrassing. They are what we, in truth, really are. Keep that material stuff we fill our lives with. It's other people and how we interact with them that in the end really matters. And considering what you're all going through, as hard as it might be, it might in the end be a good thing for everybody. I think it was a good moment for you and your children, in materializing the change you are all facing right now, in the end together. No need to be embarrassed by that. Not that I was glad to find joy in your pain, but your story did make me feel happy for the fact you can vent on here, and your story is totally relatable. You will make it through and survive. I hope your children will help you through it and bring you closer to them in the process. It doesn't help to keep stuff bottled up and hidden from your kids. Be transparent and work through it. Keep moving forward and get out all your regrets and emotions when you can. Your family, while maybe broken in your eyes now, will grow to be stronger. Your kids will learn from it and improve their adult lives from living through your experiences. Good luck and hope all goes well for you and yours. Hey buddy. I love this story so much. Let me tell you why. My parents divorced when I was 17. My life was in a tailspin right before this, due to us moving to a cramped 5-bedroom house with a 5-person family and a sibling who was spiraling into hardcore drug addiction. I was the youngest. I grew up watching my siblings have the perfect family life during their teenage years. Then I get to mine and it was like everything was peaked. I had so many feelings of bitterness and loneliness surrounding me. A few months later it was just me and my dad in that house. My family never recovered. If anyone asks, I just tell them it's me and my dad. 90% of my friends don't even know I have a brother, sister, and a mother who are each living their own individual lives. It's been a rough life growing into adulthood without them. I have so much pain. Remember the life I had as child, which was the perfect nuclear family, to the one I have now, which is feeling guilty if I do anything at all that adds to my father's loneliness on holidays. But you know what amazing, beautiful thing happened during all this? Me and my dad have the world's greatest, unbreakable bond. Forged in fire and pain and all these horrible feelings, and yet it came out shiny and new and wondrous. It's full of emotion and love and tears. I've never felt a love and understanding like the one I have for my father. He's the greatest man I know. Every good thing I am in this life is because of him and from him. I am in tears writing this. And you know, the one thing since I was a child until an adult that we have always had, that has grown more of a thing for us in the last decade than others. Seeing films together. Just sitting quietly, experiencing a beautiful art form. Even at its worst, it doesn't matter. The movie itself does not matter. It's being able to sit next to my dad, share a giant tub of popcorn, drink a massive Diet Coke, and just spend time with himself. At every few movies I notice a few more gray hairs, a few more wrinkles. And the older I get, I'm just as thankful to notice them and have one more film together. Your kids will love these memories. All the jagged edges of them. Especially the one where your son ate a dirty piece of pizza. Love them hard and they will surely love you back tenfold. I know the movie. It's extremely smart and touching. It's an explosive demolition for your emotions disguised as a cute kids movie. To get that unexpectedly and in such an emotional background that's just brutal. Your story had me tear up in sympathy. But on the other hand, the movie is insightful AF and it provides both a starting point and a lingo to have some very challenging conversations with your kids. I wish you the best. Let me tell you something. My parents are divorced and I haven't ever seen my dad express a single emotion about it. It's good for your kids to see you cry and understand that grown men can be sad too. It's not all bad. A friend and I were talking once about Robin Williams. He will forever be my favorite actor. She mentioned how she always hated him but couldn't really put her finger on why. I started listing all the classics. How could you hate him? Her aunt was with us and mentioned that when she was 3, right after her parents divorced, her dad had taken her to that movie and sobbed the entire time. It's so important that you're showing these emotions to your kids, but even more important that you're not just getting in the car and pretending it didn't happen. Amazing for your kids that you're actually talking it out with them. Sending you strength during this tough time. You guys are gonna be alright. And hopefully the kids don't hate Amy Poehler in 30 years because of a repressed memory. I didn't watch Ms. Doubtfire until I was in college with my new girlfriend. My parents have been divorced and terrible my entire childhood, and my girlfriend of just a few months got to see me cry. That movie is so masterfully done. It's like a giant warm wave that washes over you and leaves you sitting in the sand, completely drenched, gasping and wondering what hit you. Most importantly, I think it gives you hope to continue onward. Thanks for sharing your story. You will do fine. Today I effed up by reading this post and crying in the work toilets. Stay strong, dude. Crying in the work toilets. Thank you for this. I haven't laughed this hard in a while. I think as we get older we start to forget just how healthy it is to give ourselves a good cry every now and again, and keep putting on a brave face, especially when going through such a life-changing event. Inside Out is a wonderful movie to show that. Feeling sadness is perfectly healthy. All of your emotions are, as long as they're kept in check. When Inside Out first premiered, I was going through one of the worst depressive episodes in my life to date. When this happened, I felt nothing, was apathetic towards everything and everyone. There was no joy, no anger, just absolutely nothing. I was on autopilot basically all of the time, only dragging myself somewhere when absolutely necessary. Ended up seeing Inside Out on whim because I hadn't been out of the house at all besides for work and my brother wanted something to do. Seeing Riley's emotions realize they couldn't make her feel was like the movie turning a huge, unflattering mirror right at me. Much like you, I absolutely lost it right there. First emotion bomb I'd had in weeks. A lot of contemplation of why and what I was feeling happened slowly over the next few days. I can't say things were fixed overnight, but that movie did show me a few things on just letting me feel what I'm feeling.